Welcome to the Central Alabama High School Sports Show podcast, brought to you by Andrews Sports Medicine, Land of Frost, Hamburger Heaven, Huffman Electric, and State Farm.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Snapper Lancaster, welcoming you to another edition of the Central Alabama High School Sports Show. Today we'll be coming to you from Bessemer Academy, where we'll be visiting with a couple of coaches, some of their players. And folks, before we get into our first guest, you know, this is a very important part of the school year, especially for basketball players, both boys and girls. And I'm telling you what, we've got quite a few teams, the Final Four, that's coming to the Jefferson Civic Center this week and starting tomorrow. And we've still got Hoover, Mountain Brook in 7A boys, Pinson Valley in 6A boys, and in 5A boys, Winona, Ramsey, and Centerpoint will all be trying to come home with a championship trophy. On the girls' side of it, Hewitt Trustful and Hoover are still in the Final Four. No girls teams in Class 6A, but in Class 5A, Ramsey will be competing. So, folks, that gives you an idea of just how many schools here from the Birmingham area have a chance to win championships. But there's something that's already happened, and there's been a championship won, as this trophy would indicate here. We'll be talking about that in just a few moments. But a very important part of the season, championships to be won, where we're going to be talking to some championship coaches and players when we come back. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, our first guest. Don't you go away. You can catch our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube. You can also visit us on our social media outlets, Facebook and Twitter. Be sure to like and subscribe to our platforms. If you have an idea for a show topic or would like to be a sponsor, please email us at castvshow321@gmail.com.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine and orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine with shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrews Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making that gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them, we're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing and as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem or professional athletes, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
And folks, welcome back. As you can tell, I've got my first guest with me. It's a coach that's a championship coach. That makes it sort of a unique conversation we're going to have, Coach, because trust me, not every coach that I sit down with wins championships, but that's what all of the gentlemen that are trying to do when they get out and get to the end of the season. It comes playoff time. But Coach John Chris, we're talking about. Coach, before we get into the conversation a little bit, tell people that might be seeing you for the first time a little bit about your background and how you ended up here at Bessemer Academy.
Okay. This is my 9th year coaching, my 6th year at Bessemer Academy. I've had the privilege of coaching basketball here for 6 years. I've been the head varsity basketball coach for 3 years. My first year as the head coach went to the Final Four. Last year we had a little bit of a decline, and then obviously this year we won the state championship in 3A AISA. So.
Well, let me ask you, Coach, going into this season, and like you said, you had some pretty good teams in the past, and this year you win it all. Going into this season, how did you feel about this team? Did you feel like that they were a team that had the capability of playing that well and having a shot at a championship? It doesn't sound like it was a rebuilding year at all.
Well, actually, it was a little bit, Snapper. Last year we were 2-16. We finished this season 20-2. And really, the great thing about Bessemer Academy is how pieces get added all the time. The 5 gentlemen that are going to join us later, none of those 5 played with me last year. They were all new pieces to the puzzle. So what I had to figure out early on was, how can I get all of them to buy into a culture? How can I get them to come together and play as one unit? And I did that mostly on the defensive end. You watched us play a pretty good bit, and we played with a lot of defensive enthusiasm. The way we pressured the ball, the way we guarded, and pretty much from day one, if you were going to play for me, you were going to have to be able to guard.
Well, good defense, as the old saying goes, leads to offensive opportunities.
Absolutely.
And more of them.
Absolutely. And as the season got rolling, we had, I think, 3 or 4 practices before we played our first game. And we lost that one by about 20. And I remember going in the locker room after that game and telling the kids, it's not about where we start, it's about where we finish. And they started coming together every opportunity that we had, whether it was at practice or it was a game. And it was really just a pleasure to sit back and just watch them play.
Well, I think every coach probably preaches this and feels this way about it. You want your team to peak come playoff time, whenever that is, whatever sport it is.
Right.
And sometimes there's peaks and valleys. Sometimes you play well, and y'all you may have had some peaks and valleys in as far as how they were coming along and coming together. But the record doesn't indicate that it was a tough year, but you know different. There's a lot that goes on that people don't realize what it takes to get them to the point where you want them to be. Right.
And, you know, as far as throughout the season, we dropped the first game of the year, and then we lost a game at Tuscaloosa Academy. A very hard-fought game for us, and I remember looking at all their faces after that game, and it was a look of, we don't really want to experience this again. And they realized what it was going to take to see us through to the end, and we ended up winning the region outright, which we ended up with an 8-day layoff before the Elite Eight. So that was hard, getting them refocused and knock some of the rust off against a quality opponent, which was Lee Scott, and roll into the Final Four and then the championship.
Well, I know that every coach has his ideal way he'd like his team to play. And what I mean by that, what is your philosophy? Do you have a philosophy that you want to impose on the players, or is that limited to the talent you have and how there's compromise from both the players and the coaches sometimes?
You're absolutely right. I'm a big advocate for pressure defense. Bob Huggins is somebody that I really look up to and admire as a coach. The way he coaches, the way that even when he was back at Cincinnati, the way his teams played. And I've had the privilege here at Bessemer Academy where we have a lot of hard-nosed athletes that'll really get out and get after people and can transition the basketball. And that's a style that I've really catered to since I've been here. So I absolutely agree with you. It really comes down to the group of athletes that you have and what's going to give them the best opportunity to win games. And
you know, one of the most successful coaches in the state of Alabama, of course, when it comes to basketball, Bucky McMillan at Mountain Brook.
Yeah.
And I have never seen a team, they play the 32 minutes of heck, and I'm saying it nicely, but that's because they put so much pressure on you. I've seen their players, they go 3 or 4 minutes and they got to get out because somebody, I mean, it's one end or the other. And you talking about the transition buckets and at crucial times in games, boy, that can determine the momentum and who wins and who loses sometimes. So I think a lot of times, I don't care what sport it is, but basketball is no exception. Defense helps win games. If you keep another team down to a minimum, then you're always in that ball game.
Absolutely.
But once again, too, and you made a very good point, it's about the personnel you have, too, how the personnel fits to your system. And did you have much of a problem with them buying in the way you wanted them to do it?
Well, I changed some things throughout the summer. Any coach reflects on what didn't work last year and what will work this year. So the first thing that I did is I had them elect their team captains. I didn't choose them. I let them vote, and I let them pick 4. And those guys did a great job of holding people accountable. They were the first ones in drills. They were the first ones to talk, the first ones to try to get people going in practice. And it kind of let me coach, and it let them somewhat dictate how the day was going to go.
I was going to say, you know, one of the most important aspects of a team and how well they are or how they play together is chemistry.
Absolutely.
And people don't realize this, but sometimes a coach's best friend when it comes to the chemistry are the kids on the team that you can depend on to keep people in line and play the way the coach wants you to play, do it the way the coach says it. And a lot of times those players, and I don't mean to demean your job at all, and you know I don't, help you tremendously if they can do that.
Absolutely. There were quite a few times this year where maybe the other team was on a run or we were having problems picking up fouls, which seemed to be an ongoing thing this year, where we'd have a timeout or something and we'd have a captain or just somebody on the team grab somebody up and say, let's go. This isn't who we are. We're better than this. And usually they responded really well to that. Didn't usually matter how much I, stomped my feet or got caught up in the game. There was always, one of those guys to pull people in the right direction they were either on the bench, on the floor.
Well, I tell you what, the end result, and I didn't realize the final record. I knew it was a good one, 20-2. So there weren't many, like we talked about, peaks and valleys as far as wins were concerned. But peaks and valleys as far as you getting the guys to be the kind of, not only people, but players you want them to be in your system.
Absolutely.
But, Coach, you couldn't have done it any better, because when it ends up with a championship, that just means you was doing something right.
I appreciate that.
And the team was listening, but we just want to congratulate you, and we wanted to come by and recognize you for the fantastic job you did. Look forward to talking with some of your athletes. And now the only thing you got to worry about is there's this little word called repeat. And so don't mean to put anything on your shoulders or any burden like that, but
not at all.
but repeats happen. But that's what you hope for. The first one, had to be awfully good.
Oh yeah.
So the second one probably would be just as good or better, right?
I sure hope so. Yeah.
But Coach, once again, congratulations on an outstanding year and a job well done that culminated in a championship. That's the best you can do.
All right. Thank you very much, Snapper.
And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, 5 gentlemen very instrumental in the championship run that the Bessemer Academy Rebels had this year. We'll be right back. Don't you go away.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine with shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrews Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, postoperative decisions, preoperative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them, we're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
And folks, welcome back. And as you can tell, I got 5 outstanding young athletes here, and they're championship athletes. Come away with the 2018-19 championship basketball trophy, and sitting closest to me is someone I know a little bit better than I know the other guys. Happens to be my grandson, Preston Jones, and Preston, shooting guard, right? Senior. All you guys, if I'm not mistaken, are seniors, right? Oh, no, that's absolutely correct. No, we got a baby here. Micaiah Overton Sr., you're a power forward, right? Yes, sir. And then Josh McMillan Jr., okay, and a point guard. And then sitting behind him or beside him is Tyree Ragland, a junior center. Yes, sir. Okay. And finally, boy, this is something to swallow. You got a little brother in the 8th grade that was playing with big brother. That's something. LT Overton, like we talked about, LT, the younger brother. Your position is small forward, okay, and an 8th grader. Boy, are you going to try to win 4 or 5 in a row? Yes, sir. I know the coach will be looking for you to help him out there. Preston, we'll start with you. Going into this season, you're a newcomer to the team. Talk about, from your perspective, the transition that happened for you here at the school and also with your teammates.
The transition was pretty easy, actually. I mean, the teachers and students and faculty and everything was really welcoming, and I mean, I feel like I was at home as soon as I got here. I mean, I felt like a part of the family, so it was a pretty easy transition to make.
Well, how long, and I know the record would indicate one thing, but when you start off, you don't know what it's going to be like. How long did it take you to figure out that maybe you and your teammates could have a pretty special year if everything went well?
Pretty early on, actually. I mean, after the first couple practices, I mean, as fast as we were coming together, team chemistry-wise, and the athletes we had and talent we had, I could tell we have a pretty good year coming ahead of us. So. Good.
Well, Micaiah, you're a senior. You've been in the program. How many years you played here?
This is my first year.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Now, see, that's another thing. That's 2 starters that weren't there last year. Well, what was the biggest adjustment for you as far as to a new team?
Well, when it comes to adjusting, really, when it comes to the school, everybody is just nice. It's just everybody's nice, and it's really easy when it comes to everybody, because everybody works together and nobody's tried to bring anybody down, nobody's tried to talk you down. So
when you got the same goals, it's sort of easy to head in that direction,
Yes,
isn't
sir.
it? And Josh, you're an 11th grader.
Yes, sir.
Now you're the point guard, which almost means like I'll use a football term. You're the quarterback out there. A lot of things that happen start through you. How many years have you been playing on the basketball team?
This is my first year.
It's the first year too. Goodness gracious, boy! When y'all started gelling, y'all meant business, didn't you? And I tell you what, Tyree. Now you were a junior center. Was this your first year too?
Yes, sir.
My gracious alive! Now, what number did you wear? 34, right?
Yes, sir.
Who's your favorite basketball player?
Probably Magic Johnson.
Well, that's a pretty good one. Let me tell you who you reminded me of, okay? You may not remember this guy, but I'm sure you do, Charles Barkley.
Yes, sir.
When I saw 34, I said, this boy means business.
Yes, sir.
And what about you? How was it gelling with your new teammates? Was it hard, or did it take a little while?
It didn't take that long.
Well, the common goal, I guess, too, of an athlete is winning.
Yes,
so
sir.
that's what you try to do, you know. And so the cohesiveness that you develop makes a lot of difference in how far you can and can't come. LT, now being an 8th grader, was there any kind of pressure on you, or was it nervous, or did you start out as a starter almost right off?
Yes, sir.
You did?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this, being an 8th, do you participate in any other sports?
Yeah, I play football too.
You do?
Yes, sir.
What position you play there?
Defensive end.
Defensive end?
Yes, sir.
You can smack people around a little bit, huh? Did it surprise you how successful early on you and your teammates were?
Yeah, I couldn't say it was like really surprising, because I saw like in the beginning how we started building team chemistry after the first couple of games. Yeah, we just
Okay. Now, Preston, I know 2 things about you guys before y'all even sit down. One, I know you're pretty smart, because if you don't qualify in the classroom, we don't make it to the basketball court, right? So, Preston, I know you practice hard. I know y'all play hard. Now, what I want to know, and I don't know everything, you might tell me something new today. What do you do, Preston, to unwind with what little free time you have that takes the pressure away from the pressure of the basketball court in the classroom?
When I'm home and stuff, I just kind of hang out with friends, hang out with family, just stuff to take my mind off sports, I guess. And like in my free time, I'll go work on getting some shots up, swing some, hitting baseball too, because I play baseball too. So stuff like that. Just
Yeah.
stuff
Okay.
easy.
All right. How about you, Micaiah?
I like to draw.
You like to what?
I like to draw.
Really?
Yeah, because when I go to college, I'm trying to be a graphic designer.
Well, you know, that's one question that I like asking you athletes. First of all, senior, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know where you'll be going next year?
Liberty.
Really?
Yes, sir. I
Okay.
signed for football.
You're going to do what now?
I signed for football.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Now, that was the university where Jeremy Monso,
Yes, sir.
you recognize that name, played basketball. Well, and so your football will be the sport you play there, right?
Yes, sir.
So when your playing days are over, if you don't end up in the NFL one day,
Yes, sir.
what you want to do something that has to do with drawing, or?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to be my own boss and run my own business.
Oh, okay.
As a
Well,
graphic
great.
designer.
Okay. So now, Josh, you being an 11th grader, what do you do to sort of unwind from all that work from the classroom and the court?
I actually go home, probably talk to my parents a little bit, listen to music, probably hang out with my friends and just have fun.
Oh, okay. How about you, Tyree?
I just either go home or stay in the gym at the YMCA.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you this question too. When you speak, do people listen? Okay, that gave me that answer. Yeah, I got a feeling that not many people talk back. Okay. Now, LT, you got a lot of growing to do. So what do you do with that free time?
I'll probably go home. It like depends on what I'm doing that day. Like Like, do you mean on the weekend?
I mean anytime, yeah. So on the weekend, you just cut loose, huh?
I'll like go to the gym, lift weights, work out, like get shots up because I have AAU season and I gotta stay focused on that. Or I'll go home, relax, make sure like I do my stretches, or I'll have chill time, make sure I'm on the phone, talking to people, or I'll spend time with friends.
Well, I tell you what, guys, I don't care what you do. You're champions. That's something nobody will ever be able to take away from you. And 2 or 3 of you guys here, 3 of you, you got a chance to win some more championships. And then Preston and Micaiah, y'all are off to school next year. And I wish you all the luck in the world. And the last question I got to ask you, and I'm always interested in what young athletes have to say, and we'll start with you, LT. To this point in your life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
I'd say J.J. Watt. I've been like doing research. Like he's just been the person I've been looking at. Ever since he was young, you know, I'll look at what he's been doing to get better, and
if you can play just that close to what he plays, you're going to be successful, right?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding athlete. How about you, Tyree? Who's been the most inspirational person?
Draymond Green.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Just because he's very vocal, and the leadership that he shows on the court every night is very inspirational.
And you know what? The people that are vocal and help you in that area, they're some of the ones that can give you the best advice too, and back it up, and it helps to make you a better person, a better player. Okay, how about you, Josh?
Probably my parents. You know, I always looked up to them. Like they always have this work ethic to them, just always doing stuff.
Okay, and how about you?
I would say my mom. She always tells me not to ever give up, and if I have a goal, make sure I succeed and get it, follow through.
Okay, Preston?
Yeah, probably my parents too, because I mean, it's the stuff they deal with every day, and the way they stay strong in their faith through all the times they have hard times they have to faith, and the good times and everything, and just how they always commit to 100% everything they do, just really inspires me.
Buddy. Well, let me tell you guys, there's one thing that people can't take away from you now, and at least for right now, you can go by and tell these friends, strangers, it don't matter who it is, you go to school at Titletown. Y'all done won you a title. They can't ever take it away. Some of you might win some more. I hope you do. Preston, good luck to you and Micaiah and whatever y'all do in your endeavors in the future, okay? So, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We come back, another coach, more athletes. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors, a company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their number one objective. And folks, welcome back. And in this segment, as you can tell, I got another outstanding coach up here with me from Bessemer Academy, and we're talking about Jeremy Brown. Coach, good to see you.
Good seeing you.
And for people that may be seeing you for the first time, Coach, tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up here at Bessemer Academy.
Well, I played baseball at Hughtown High School. I moved on, played at University of Alabama for 4 years, and then I played some professional ball for 6 years with Oakland Athletics. It's been a kind of a winding road for me to get back to school. after I quit playing baseball professionally, I had another occupation, ended up getting laid off, went back to school, decided to try to get my teaching certificate, and just finished up this year, and I was able to, this job came open, and fortunately I was able to land it.
Well, you know what, and I talk to people all the time about the fact that a lot of times people think coaches started out their career wanting to be a coach, or that was always their goal, or it happened early. But what I'm finding out by visiting with as many coaches as I have through the years, very few of them thought they'd be coaching. And some of the best in the business ended up being real good coaches. So you got into something that, one, I don't know before you got in how familiar you were with the coaching aspect of it, but baseball and being around it all those years had to mean a lot to you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I love the game of baseball. I have a son of my own who I coach, and I love being around kids. I love teaching the game, and I just thought this was the perfect avenue for me to, to continue my career.
Well, now going into this season, how many years?
This is my first year at Bessemer Academy.
Now,
yes,
it's not your first year to coach, is it?
I volunteer coached 2 years ago at Oak Grove, so this is my first real teaching and head coaching position.
Okay, so now that's interesting too. So talk about, that was quite an adjustment for you. Has it been thus far sort of what you thought it might be?
Yeah, I mean, there's things obviously that, I wasn't expecting. The baseball aspect of it, getting to know the kids has been great. As far as scheduling and trying to deal with everything that goes along with getting ready to play has been something that maybe I wasn't expecting.
Right. Now, I talk to coaches all the time about scheduling, because most of them, regardless of what sport it is, have the freedom to create their schedule, except for area games or whatever that situation is for your school. But are you one of these coaches, and I know you're just starting, most of the coaches I talk with, I said, do you schedule teams, one, you think you ought to be, two, that you think are about as good as you are, or three, ones that it would be an upset if you beat them, but a big win for you? What's your philosophy on coaching, and are you restricted as far as who you can go out and
Well, obviously we can only play AISA teams. The schedule was already created for this year. They do them in 2-year increments. So we already had a schedule to work off of. Now we added some teams who will be a challenge for us to play against. My personal philosophy is the better teams you can play, that's the only way you're going to get better. I don't think you get better by scheduling teams who you should beat. I think you should always be trying to play up or at your competition.
Well, now, let me ask you this, and it's sort of interesting because you're one of the few coaches that I've interviewed all through the years. This is the first year you've ever coached. So talk about the situation now. You and teammates in ball, whether it be college or pros, is one thing, but then you and young teenagers is something else. Talk about the challenge there. Has it been what you're just getting good and started? Has there anything surprised you yet, or do you have a mindset of how you want to approach that relationship with those athletes?
Well, sure. I come into the job open-minded. I can learn as much from them as they can learn from me about how to become a team, how to gel as a team. I want my teams to be hardworking. I want them to be determined and mentally tough, and that's something we've been kind of working on the whole time. And we're still coming together as a team. We've only played 5 games, so,
right.
And I think we're off to a good start.
Well, I was going to say, I don't mean that ugly. With just 5 games under your belt, I know you learn something every game, probably.
Sure.
But so far, and your record what right now? 4-1. So you're off to a good start, positive start. So has there been anything that has surprised you about the team that it's better than you thought you would be this early? And what are the biggest problems that lie down the road for you in year one?
Like I said, we're still learning. We're still learning the kids. The kids are still learning us as far as how our approach to the game. I think they competed at it. They really competed well, which has been very, positive for me. We don't really have to push them to get out there and compete their best. So I've been excited about that for the first part of the season.
What has been the most, maybe if this may be the wrong term to use, what's been the most surprising thing or the thing that you thought, wow, I didn't expect this, you know? Have you had one of those kind of moments?
I haven't really. I mean, there's some things that maybe you wouldn't think you might have to go over. Or I coming in the job thinking, you know, I really probably wouldn't have to cover this, and then I've had to cover it, and, you know, we're like, well, I really didn't think I'd have to cover it, but, you know, you had to. Just something I thought would be normal that hadn't been.
Well, I guess from talking with you, this sounds like this may be the correct statement to make. It may not be, but from what you've seen, and then you had to want to get into coaching, or you wouldn't have got that degree. Is it something where you think just from this early stage of it that this might be something you look forward to doing a few years down the road?
Oh yeah, sure. I think this is going to be the rest of my career path. I'd hope to retire one day as a teacher and a coach. Like I said, I love being around young people. I love coaching them and teaching them. Hopefully one day I'll get to coach my son, you know, wherever that may be. You know, so that's my goal, to stay in it as long as possible.
Well, I know you've only gotten in 5 games so far. What has been the most pleasant surprise in the early season in the 5 games, and what has been something that you see, well, boy, we really got to work on this?
Well, our pitching's been really good in the first 5 games. Early in the season, you know, you really don't know what to expect, and I think our pitching and our defense has been pretty good starting out. You know, we got a veteran group of guys. I got 7 seniors and several juniors. So, you know, they know how to handle themselves on the field, and, you know, so far the pitching and defense has been outstanding.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, and two, that's probably 2 of the most important aspects a coach looks for. If you can stop a team, or you can make great plays in the field to end rallies or whatever, the offense sort of will take care of itself. It'll either improve, or it'll be an average, or it'll be something you'll be working on all along. But baseball is no different than what other sport. The lower number of runs you give somebody, the better chance your team has to win. So right now, just from no longer, and you've been around them, you're all 4-1. Do you think that maybe by the time that you get toward the end of the season, this team will develop into one that should make a playoff contender?
Yes, sir. I think we got the pieces to make a run into the playoffs. You know, like I said, as long as we keep working hard, you know, we got some very talented kids. We got veteran kids, and as long as we keep working hard and getting better, I don't see any reason we shouldn't have a chance.
And of course, one of the key elements of it is your pitching. And so, as we close this out, does the pitching look like something that might get stronger as the season goes on, and it looks like a very positive for this team?
Well, I think right now we're still, you know, we have a couple guys who have stood out early. We have a lot of guys who can pitch, and so right now we're just seeing who can do what. And I think as the year goes on, we have a chance to have a lot of depth in that pitching staff, to where we'll be able to use multiple guys in multiple situations.
Well, I tell you what, like in almost anything, and you understand this, the first year is a very important one, because for the simple reason, one, you're going to be finding out that, yeah, this is really what I expected, what I want, what I look forward to doing. And before this season's over, I know that I put no pressure on you, but boy, it'd be nice first year out of the box, come away with a championship. And but that's the goal of every coach too, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, that's the goal. Obviously, you know, we want to come out and have a successful season. You know, I want the kids to get better as we go on. Our ultimate goal would be to win state, but our first goal would be trying to win our area and then moving on from there.
Well, Coach, I wish you all the luck in the world. You're at a fine school, and hope you have many years and successful years. And championships be won in baseball, right?
Thank you, sir.
And we're going to take a quick break, folks. When we come back, we're going to revisit some 4 outstanding young athletes. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say, I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine with shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrews Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, postoperative decisions, preoperative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making that gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them, we're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
And folks, welcome back. As you can tell, once again, 4 outstanding young athletes. One you've already seen, of course. I mentioned this is my grandson Preston. He not only plays basketball, he plays baseball. The football coach even would have liked to have had him out there on the football field, but Preston, we didn't want to push the injury button, right? That's one of the reasons. But all right, going into this very quickly, Preston, playing basketball, playing baseball, I'm going to put you on the spot. Which one you like the best?
Definitely baseball.
Definitely baseball. Well, I know you haven't had a whole lot of time with your new teammates and everything, but you've had a little practice. You've had 5 ball games. What do you see out of this group? You think you got you and your teammates can make some more noise this year?
I do. I thought we were a pretty solid team. I mean, we're pretty well-rounded. Have the pitching and hitting. We're full of athletes. I thought we had a pretty good year. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, Landon, you're a senior.
Yes, sir.
How many years you been playing baseball?
For about 10.
Really? But how many years have you played here?
4.
Really? Okay. All right. Going into this year, this being your senior year, what kind of expectations did you have not only of your team but for yourself?
Just to be the best we can be. Come out, have strong work ethic.
Okay. Alex, you're a senior as well.
Yes, sir.
And how many years you been playing baseball?
I've been playing 4 years here.
Really?
10 total.
You participate in any other sport?
Football.
Really?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
what position you play in football?
Linebacker.
Linebacker.
Yes, sir.
So you like to hit people?
Yes, sir.
Rather than be hit. Okay. And what position you play?
Third base.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay. All right. Now, would you consider yourself a better hitter or a better fielder?
Probably a better fielder, I'd say.
In other words, you're pretty good at both of them, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rich, a senior as well.
Yes, sir.
What position do you play?
Middle infield.
Left field?
Middle infield.
Oh, middle infield. All right. Do you participate in any other sports?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, all you guys are seniors. I know, Preston, you're off to Tennessee Martin to your college, try to get your college degree. Landon, do you know where you'll be going yet?
That's why I'm undecided yet.
Oh, okay. If you could go anywhere you wanted to, where would you like to go?
Probably to a junior college somewhere.
Okay. Do you have any idea what you might like to do one day?
Going to like coaching.
Really?
Teaching.
But do you think you'd like to coach? Well, good, good. Alex, how about you? Where do you think you'll be going?
I'm not sure yet either.
Really? Do you know what you want to do yet?
Not really. Not yet.
No.
I haven't decided.
Well, that's all right. That's what 4 years of college are for.
Yes,
The 12 years of high school is just to get us ready for that, right? Rich, how about you?
I'm going to Tuskegee University to play baseball.
Oh, okay. Well, good, good. All right, now guys, the athletes, we're a funny lot. Now, 50 years ago, believe it or not, I was an athlete. That was 50 years ago. But athletes we're a superstitious bunch sometimes. So with that thought in mind, Rich, do you have any superstitions, or is there anything you feel like you have to do to make you better or perform or whatever? Or are you just not a very superstitious guy?
I'm not really superstitious.
Really?
I mean, well, before I go to bed, I use the same routine, but other than that, not really.
Oh, okay. Now, how about you, Alec?
I'm not really superstitious either.
Really?
No, sir.
Okie dokie. Now I know some, Landon.
I mean, I pretty much wear like same stuff every game, like as far as accessories and stuff.
Yeah. Well, usually we feel like if we do what we think is going to make us a little bit better, it gives us an edge. Let me tell you the truth about superstitions. There ain't nothing to them. You know why? Because your ability is going to determine how well you do or don't. But it's nice to know up here we think it will help us, right? Now, Preston, I ain't never asked you that much about that. Do you have any superstitions?
Kinda. I mean, I try to follow the same routine before every game. Like, just whether it's listening to the same music, same warm-up routine, just same tape I wear and everything. So.
Let me ask you this: what's the favorite thing you like about baseball? What is the least favorite?
On a favorite thing, probably just the adrenaline you get, like in front of big games and stuff, or on game day, and just getting played in front of a crowd and just I got out there having fun, just being with a bunch of guys that I love being around and stuff. So it's probably one of the favorite things. And I really don't have a least favorite, honestly. I mean, I love just about everything about it. So.
Okay. Landon, how about you?
Probably just being around all the people that love the game as much as I do. My least favorite probably, it's not really, I mean, I love the game. So.
Okay, well that's good. Alex?
Kind of what they said, just being around teammates and stuff, atmosphere. I don't really have a least favorite thing about it. I love it.
Well, let me ask you this, and Rich, before I do that, what you like, what you dislike?
My dislike, I don't like being around players with bad attitudes. Like, I just don't like people with negative mindsets out there on the field.
Well, see, that's what I like, a guy that speaks up and tells that there is some negative things sometimes, but we deal with those just like the positive, right? And I don't know if you've seen other teams. Now, how many years, is this your first year here?
This is my second year here.
Second year here, okay. Is there a team on that schedule when you saw the schedule come out that you look forward to playing that team?
Yes.
Who would it have been for you?
I always like playing Tuscaloosa Academy, Otago Academy, Morgan Academy, and Glenwood Academy.
They're some of the what you would call tougher.
Yeah, they're the better teams we're going to play.
Oh, okay. All right. How about you, Alan?
Pretty much what he said. All them teams, probably the best teams we'll play.
Landon, one question I would ask you, because I talked to a lot of these high school athletes that are seniors, and when a lot of them have little kids that by the time they're seniors come up to them after games and want to shake their hand and say, good game, all this kind of thing. But if a young athlete came up to you, what would you tell him that why he should be wanting to maybe love to play baseball?
It's like on the field, everybody around you is just great people, and it's a great game.
Well, I know, Preston, one thing that I've talked with athletes about as well is playing at home and playing away. Do you feel like there's more pressure on you playing at home in front of a home crowd to win, or do you feel like there's less pressure when you go on the road, or does it bother you either way?
Honestly, it's about the same to me. I mean, it's a game. I mean, the gratitude of the game is just about the same wherever you go, no matter if you're playing at home or if you're playing away. So, I mean, our home crowd can come watch us at away games too, so it's about the same to me. So.
Yeah, because I know I've talked to a lot of athletes, and some of them feel like more comfortable, like there's less pressure when you play on the road because you want to win in front of your home crowd? How do you feel about that, Landon?
I mean, I like playing at home with like good atmosphere.
Right.
I know we'll have people here. Away, you never know how many people are going to come to the game from your own school.
Right. How about you, Alex?
I think there's less pressure playing away. It's just different than playing at home, I guess.
Yeah, at home you almost feel like there's a little pressure on you because you want to win
You
so
gotta win
bad
at
in
home.
front of the home crowd. How about you, Rich?
Me, personally,
Yeah.
I don't feel pressure home or away, but I like playing away games more because I like to go to somebody's place, take what they got, beat them.
Yeah, in other words, you get a lot of that, the momentum you can have, you can take it out of the stands if you can dominate games and win them, right? One last question I want to ask you about the sports part of it. Who is your favorite baseball player? And we'll start with you, Rich. Who's a professional baseball player you enjoy watching play?
Probably Jose Altuve.
Oh, okay. He's a good one. Alex, how about you?
Probably Mike Trout.
Yeah, now Trout's a really good one. Landon, how about you?
Probably Mookie Betts.
Really? Okay. Preston?
Mine, I'm pretty sure retired last year, but Matt Holliday. I mean.
Oh yeah. He was a fine player too. Well, listen, guys. I know you're off to a good start, and so I think 4-1 right now, right? And so all we want to do is head down that direction. And hope you have a great season and maybe challenge for a championship before the season's over with. The last question I got you, and we'll start with you, Rich. To this point in your young life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
My dad.
Okay, Dad. It's always there, right?
Yeah.
Alex?
My parents.
Okay. And Landon?
Definitely my parents.
Well, I know the answer to that one for Preston too. And guys, I tell you what, you're off to a good start. The basketball team wins a championship. It'd be nice if the baseball team could follow that up, right?
Sure.
But listen, I wish you all the luck in the world, and all of you will be going off to school next year. Wherever you go, good luck. And maybe one of these days, be like Jeremy Brown sitting up here like the coach. And y'all will have kids playing for y'all, okay?
Yes, sir.
But good luck to you. Folks, we've had another great show, outstanding young athletes, a couple of great coaches. We'll do it again till next week. You know what the snapper always says, bicycle. You can catch our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube. You can also visit us on our social media outlets, Facebook and Twitter. Be sure to like and subscribe to our platforms. If you have an idea for a show topic or would like to be a sponsor, please email us at castvshow321@gmail.com.